Kevin Magpie 24/7. I hope he's all good. So, Newcastle start the year off with a 0-0 draw, just like they ended the new year. But I think the significance of the 0-0 draw is a lot different, because getting a draw away from home against a team who are top of the league and have a 100% record at home this season until they played us, I think is unbelievable, to be honest. I thought we defended really well. Although we didn't offer much going forward, defensively we were excellent, and I don't think Arsenal, barring like a handful of chances, really had much to go for. And Arsenal have blown away teams this season, but they couldn't really get in behind. Obviously, I know there's a couple of penalty shouts. With the Murphy one, I've seen them given this season for little or more, but like I don't know. Like, I've seen them not given as well. So like, with the lack of consistency from the referees, I don't know if that's a penalty or not. So for me, I'm not 100%. Obviously, I'm biased. I'm like Newcastle fans and that fan channel. Hello, but like, you know what I mean. It's like I'm not 100% on that one. Like, I can't 100% clearly say that's a penalty, but the way Mikel Arteta went on, fucking embarrassing, man. Like, he should have saved his little antics and his little dancing on the touchline for his Amazon documentary, because it's fucking embarrassing the way he's going on. Like, have a bit of class. Like, he's crying on like a spoiled brat because he didn't pick up, because the team didn't go to the Emirates and roll over just like everybody else. He reminds us almost of Jurgen Klopp, the way he goes on, just like a spoiled bitch. And it's just like, stop fucking moaning for 1 second. Like, if you're losing your rag at this early into the season because Newcastle are defending well, when it gets a bit squeaky bum time, like, is he going to have the mentality to carry that Arsenal side to a title? With all the games that they've got to play against the bigger sides as well. Don't know, like, but yeah, that's my take on the game. Let us know your comments in the description below, and I'm going to pass over to Paul to give his thoughts on the game. If you like this type of format, we're going to try and test a couple of things out in the new year. But yeah, let me know, and yeah, on to you.
Cheers, Kyle, for that. Yes, Arsenal is in the books. It was a game I was particularly nervous about in the build-up, if I'm being honest, but needn't have been, to be honest. For all, I think Arsenal did control the possession. There's no getting away from that. Yes, they had some chances created by crosses, but was there too many? For all the possession, for all the huff, all the puff, all the fanciness, it was a case of all fur coat and no knickers for me, to be honest. They're flattered to deceive, and I think a side that's at the top of the league, a side that looks destined to at least challenge, if not claim, the Premier League title, should be looking to do more against us, if I'm being honest. That was the first time they have failed to score, funnily enough, since the last time they played Newcastle, and that is no coincidence. Eddie Howe has certainly got the team well drilled, well disciplined, and despite what's in the mainstream media, it is not down to Saudi millions or anything else like that. The club is spending its way. It is putting proper investment in place, but it's something that we've been starved of a long time. And the majority of that team and the majority of the good stuff is coming through great coaching, and great coaching with some of the players that Bruce on multiple occasions labelled as simply not good enough, but yet Eddie Howe is getting more than a tune out of these lads. I thought the defence was fantastic. I think they well deserved the mantra of best defence in the entire Premier League. And again, that excites me for the future, because every great team that I have seen over the many years that I've been praying for Newcastle to have some success, have all had the fantastic defences, the great plays. Fabian Schär and Sven Botman look absolutely great, fantastic. Dan Burn just a great job at left back, as a centre back playing out there, but and Trippier Trippier's brilliant. He's a brilliant leader, a brilliant organiser, a brilliant motivator, and a great defender. But Sven Botman, I thought, was absolutely outstanding, and we are still yet to lose when he is in the team. And again, I think that speaks absolute volumes. So yeah, Arsenal, no doubt about it, they bossed the possession, sort of 2/3 to a third, if you will. But I still think one of the best chances, and I'm not, I'm not including their stupid, pathetic attempts at trying to get a penalty. It would have been the world's softest penalty if they'd have been given. It's as simple as that. Arsenal fans can complain all they want, but that is the top and bottom of it. And the best chance of the game for me is the Joe Linton chance, the header. And bearing in mind he's coming off the back of scoring from his head against Leicester, I was absolutely gutted. I was convinced that ball was going to hit the back of the net, but it wasn't to be. Obviously, Chris Wood had that chance in the second half, and it was like it was in slow motion, like he was running through fucking treacle or something like that. But it turns out it was offside in the end anyway. But oh fuck me, if that was Callum Wilson, it would be thinking one thing and one thing only, and that's taking a shot on and trying to get a goal. But he squared it. Luckily for him, it was offside. It wouldn't have counted anyway. But I was slightly frustrated with that particular moment of the match. But my biggest frustration, if I'm talking about that, would be Arteta. And I think he will. I think he will end up bottling it. We've all seen the documentary, and he sort of bottles it as the season goes on. He comes up with stupid things like, look at this light bulb, and look at this, that, and the other. Pathetic. I don't like it at all, and I don't like the fact that he looks like he's chasing a fucking wasp. On the sidelines. What is he doing? It is embarrassing. We're not even halfway through the season, are we? And he's already getting this ramped up and riled up, and it just doesn't look very professional from the sides. And if he's like this now, imagine when Man City are breathing down the necks, when the pressure is really cranked up to maximum, in the last few weeks towards the end of the season. Will he be able to handle it? Will he bottle under the pressure? The signs certainly point, for that. I've got nothing against Arsenal. I'd rather Arsenal win the league than Manchester City, to be honest. Just so it's something different, and it breaks up the monopoly of just Man City all the time with the odd Chelsea. But no, I don't like that, and I don't think Eddie Howe did. He certainly took exception, and it's unlike Eddie Howe to cause any confrontation, anything else like that. He's very up with his responsibilities and being a role model and this, that, and the other. But when somebody's running around like with a histrionics and stuff like that, Arteta looked like a little kid. He really, really looked like a little kid. The point, I think, in the end was a fair point. Despite, again, what I've read on social media of some of the Arsenal fans trying to big it up, ham it up, and stuff. And it's, you can dress it up whichever way you want, but look, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. If it's good enough for Leeds to come to St James's Park and use those tactics, then why isn't it acceptable and okay for Newcastle, who last season was fighting relegation, to implement similar tactics? And it certainly wasn't like under the days of Steve Bruce, where it was literally just park the bus and fucking pray. You know what I mean? It wasn't any of that. There was a plan, there was a tactic, there was a purpose, because I think in the first 10 minutes we tried our usual game, our usual tactic. It didn't work, and credit to Eddie Howe in that, yes, it wasn't working. So rather than wait till half time, rather than wait until Arsenal had run off and run up a cricket score, he actually implemented changes straight away, and that was refreshing, as Newcastle United fans, to be able to see, as far as I'm concerned. Because again, under Bruce and even previous managers before that, you're going back over your Pardew's and your Canillas and everybody else, there wasn't those changes, there wasn't those tactical tweaks, there wasn't the micromanagement. I mean, Rafa could, but I think it was really, really bold just after 10 minutes to say, look, hands up, this isn't working, so we're going to change it around, and we're going to find a system to suit the occasion. And that's what we did. That is what we did. It was frustrating when it happened to us, but we had to take it on the chin when it was Leeds doing it, although I think we created a fair amount of chances against Leeds, to be honest, looking back at that game. But in this game, I think it was clear that Arsenal lacked cutting edge, most certainly. They lacked the number 9, so that's maybe something that they need to address But I thought we went down there, and for an away performance against top of the league, who's doing fantastically well, we made a great account of ourselves. And yeah, we didn't roll over and let our stomachs be fucking scratched and tickled like, you know, Arsenal seemingly wanted us to do. But it's tough shit. It's another point for us. It continues the run on. We are now, across Europe's top 5 leagues, the most informed team. I think it was after Napoli dropped points against Inter. We are now the most informed team in the league. I think that's 13 in the league, 15 in total. You know, since that night at Anfield that we were absolutely and utterly fucking robbed, you know. So since then the reaction has been absolutely great. It's been fantastic. So yeah, long may that continue. We've now got some more favourable games where we can really look to push and win, get some more wins on the board and push up. And for Russ, and Eddie touched on it after the game, no pressure whatsoever on us. No title talk within the dressing room. We're taking one game at a time. Where for an Arsenal, for everybody else, all the talk will be about the title, and they've got to balance that along with European competition returning very, very shortly. It could be a great season for Newcastle. It's a case of fingers crossed. But 2 important games now coming up, of course. Sheffield Wednesday at the weekend. Looking forward to that. We'll be at that game in the FA Cup. I think it'll be a changed team, to be honest. I really do. Could Dubravka come back in? Be interested to hear about your thoughts about that down below with everything that's gone off. And then we've got the huge one. It is massive and mammoth for next week. It's of course the quarter-final against Leicester City. They'll be shitting themselves after what happened down at the King Power. I nearly said Filbert Street again. I've got to get that out of my head. But yeah, they will be shitting themselves after the comprehensive drubbing that we give them recently, to have to travel back up and to take us on again. They'll be shitting themselves. I expect changes this weekend, of course I do. Looking towards this cup game. Yes, there is strong talk about Elliot Anderson leaving on loan. Garan Kowal, he's out and up at Heart at the moment, having a look around their training facility with Shola Miobi, the Magnum Slayer. So perhaps with their Australian players that they've got up there, that's a good place for him to spend the next sort of 5 to 6 months and continue his development. Elliot Anderson, I expect him to feature this weekend and then probably head out on loan after that. But there'll be other changes as well. You've got Jamal Lascelles, who's must be chomping at the bit to get some action. It might actually get booked on the pitch rather than off it for a change, which was absolutely fantastic to see in the last 2 games. And it goes to show you that team spirit, that unity, that them against us sort of spirit that's in the team, even amongst the substitutes. But you're going to be seeing the likes of Jamal Lascelles this weekend, no doubt about it. Either Carl Darlow or Martin Dubravka might get a run out. Javier Manquillo again must be pushing. Richie will want action. Ryan Fraser's been forgotten about, but he can certainly do a job. Will you rest somebody like Miggy? In the central midfield it's going to be more difficult, but could Bruno at least be dropped down to the bench for the time being? Joe Linton move more centrally perhaps, and we see Alan Saint-Maximin. I've definitely got a feeling he starts. He needs the minutes in his legs if he's to push into the Premier League reckoning as well. So yeah, changes no doubt this weekend, and then more of a sort of full strength team against Leicester in the cup at home. But 0-0 in the history books. Happy with the point. It's not been a happy hunting ground for us over the years. I think it was 2014 the last time we even scored a goal down there. Jose Perez. The last time we took the lead, I think, was a couple of years before that, maybe 2012. Hadn't been Arthur. And victories very few and far between. I think it might be just the one. Is it the Andy Carroll one, the header, which was many moons ago. So yeah, it hasn't been a great place for us to go, but we went down there, we started with a game plan, we changed, we were responsive. The only thing I was slightly surprised about with regards to tactics and how the match went was that Saint-Maximin didn't get more minutes. I thought with the referee, who was atrocious by the way, dishing out cards all the way, you get Saint-Maximin on and you might get one of their players sent off and you might win a penalty, a moment of magic like you scored against Wolves. You just don't know, and you might end up nicking it. But I do think, I honestly and on heart think that hands on heart even, that 0-0 in the end was more than a fair result. So let me know what you think down below. Let us know about your thoughts on these two cup games coming up. What changes would you make for this weekend? And are you looking forward to the quarter-final, a chance to get into the semi-final of the League Cup? Massive opportunity for our football club that we just literally cannot pass up on. So let me know all that down below in the comments, and in the meantime, take care, keep it tuned, and I'll speak to you later.